Yo, so I was looking at this video that I saw by Larry Chen. I don't know if you saw it. It was with him test driving one of the new Hyundai electric cars. Have you seen it? He has like a whole track setup going on. He's wearing a helmet and stuff, and he's driving
that IONIQ 5N.
Yeah, he's driving the new EV.
The pre-production one.
Yes, he is. I don't know what track it was though.
I remember seeing it because
this is the video. So, in this video, he's able to. I don't know if there's actual paddle shifters, but it's an electric vehicle, and you see him at one point. He kind of rows and shifts a gear, and apparently it actually has a functional shifter. So I'm pretty sure right here he's going to shift. And
it's interesting though, because if you look at the gauge cluster, right? So it obviously,
do you see that?
Yeah, no, I do, and I feel like I read something about this. So it's a simulated manual car, right? So no clutch, but it's a dual clutch transmission, from what I understand. Am I right?
Mm-hmm. I don't think that's the car,
that's not a dual clutch transmission, because he drove the electric one.
Yes, the IONIQ 5.
Yeah. So the only thing here is you can see obviously it's got a sequential gauge, a sequential shift light there, kind of thing, integrated into the cluster, and obviously they've simulated a tachometer to try to give you the best feel of when to shift and different things like that. But in reality, there's that's not happening.
That shift looked really real though. I don't know what track he's at, but so Hyundai has him come out and he is test driving that car, the i20N and the i30N, which are all part of the N line from Hyundai. I'm telling you this right now. It almost seems like Hyundai is more in it for the enthusiast than most of the other car companies. They're doing more stuff enthusiast focused than Honda is, and they might as well just be the new Honda now.
Ooh. So, man, this is tough. This is tough. There's so many thoughts to unwrap with this. The first thing is all right, here's where I struggle. First off, just because we just brought it up, I struggle with a lot of the simulated driving experiences that they're trying to integrate back into the cars.
Okay.
Right? I don't want a speaker to make sounds to me so I feel like I'm in an internal combustion engine car. Like, if I have to do that, I'd rather
pumped-in audio is the problem with it?
Well, I don't know if it's the problem.
But it's a problem.
A problem for me. Because I really want this driving experience. Now, it looked like he was having a really great driving experience in the car. Now, as far as the paddle shifting and the whole thing, I mean, obviously there's something there in a tune where they can obviously replicate a lot of different scenarios. Because I even read that car will even experience a fuel cut. So, like, in other words, if you rev it out past its simulated,
red
RPM
line,
function, it will bounce. You know what I mean? Like,
so there's a rev limiter?
Well,
EV rev limiter?
Right. That's kind of essentially what a fuel cut is. But
yeah.
But there's things that bother me about that, because I kind of feel like, and no shots thrown, they'll know who they are. But it's like when you creep up to to a BMW meet and you bring your 3 Series with M badges on it.
Okay, yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if I want to be in an internal combustion engine car, I want an internal combustion engine car.
I guess. I don't think that's so much the point here. I think the point is that they are doing enthusiast-driven stuff, even on all sides. So in other words, even though they have the IONIQ 5 out already, that car is already out there, it's a working EV, they're still going to try to incorporate enthusiast-driven features into all their cars.
But are they cheesy?
I mean, it's not cheesy it's not cheesy when none of the other ones do it, though.
I think, listen, I'm going to give a tremendous amount of praise to Hyundai, right? I think they have elevated. That's a whole other term. I think they've elevated that brand in the past 10 to 15 years in an amazing way. I think they're on a road to being, I mean, I shouldn't say on a road to. I mean, they're one of the major players now when it comes down to cars. They've done a great job about really pushing their vehicles into the mainstream spotlight that allows you to consider, I mean, listen, you go back 20 years ago, 15 years ago, you would never be like, hey, I'm thinking about buying a new car. It's either the Camry, Accord, or
the
Sonata. Like, it would just never happen.
No,
right?
I know. It's not even in the same conversation.
And to me, a Hyundai Elantra, when I was like even in college, was a joke.
It's a horrible. Yeah, I mean,
it's a horrible joke.
I know it was a very undesirable car.
But now you have some of these cars like the Elantra N.
Right.
And they're cool. But while I think that would you agree that you feel like maybe Honda is the closest matchup for some of these N line and N cars?
I mean, yeah, I think so. I think that's fair. I mean, you have very similar things in the Type R to the Elantra, and I know a lot of people are going to say that the Type R is a superior car, but I mean, they're also not the same price, but they're similar.
Oof. Yeah, I will say you're on your game today. You know why? Because you pick statements that make me want to unpack a wealth of different conversations.
Hey, I mean, listen, I think if you're looking for that,
let me stop you for a second.
Sure.
I'm gonna stop you for a second.
Sure.
I want this out there to right before we go anywhere.
Okay.
Elantra N.
Uh-huh.
And Civic Type R.
Right.
Same price. Which car?
It's Type R.
All right. I felt that in your defense, we needed to get that out there.
But they're not. The whole thing is they're not the same price.
Yeah.
You get both of them are powerful front-wheel drive sports cars.
All right. Would you spend $10,000 more to get a Civic Type R?
That's what you have to do. That's the MSRP.
No, but that's the MSRP, but that's not what they're selling for.
Sure, it's even more than that. Then.
It's way more than that.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm saying is right now you have, let's say you could pay Elantra N type money.
Okay.
Get an Elantra N.
Yep.
And MSRP. Or you could pay
MSRP money.
MSRP money plus even the 10 grand. Well, so let's say you can get the car for MSRP to MSRP. Do you take the Civic Type R, pay the money?
Yeah, I probably would.
Yeah.
I probably would. But that's not the way the real world is. So you have two powerful front-wheel drive cars, and even in their lower trims, so like even the SI to the
N line.
The Elantra N line, which is the higher trim package.
Same type of numbers.
The middle trim package. Those are comparable. And like
But you would agree that in that case, the SI is on MSRP level.
But they're still
cheaper.
I don't know that. I don't know.
I think if I'm correct, the Civic Si is like, I don't know, like 29,500, 30,000, almost even.
Okay.
On their MSRP, and I think the N line is like, the Elantra N line is like, now not the N line.
Right.
I don't know.
That middle package.
You know what? That bothers me all in itself. That's a whole other story.
All right, so
because this is what Audi did. Audi did the same crap.
I know the S line and whatever.
That was so dumb.
It's like the M packages from BMW. I get it.
I just don't like it. Oh, all right. So 29,100.
So all right, I'll give you this. Naming conventions, Honda wins.
Okay, that's fair.
There you go.
But yeah. All right. So let's get through this stuff because again, I'm about to unpack.
Unpack.
I'm triggered.
Go away. Fire away.
The pedigree is totally different.
Yeah.
Like to me, this is the equivalent of buying a Hyundai Genesis and a 370Z at the time.
Okay.
Right. Like they're just not the same car.
No.
Right. Like I don't care what you say. I don't talk about track model to more like, in that area. You know what I mean? Like, because if you get a sport, like a 370 Sport, like it has the Akamotos, whatever. So, and then you kind of look at the same thing where they put the 3.8.
Yeah. It's 3.8
V6. Yeah. V6. And I don't think the cars are from a pedigree standpoint and from what you're driving. They're just not comparable to me. Well, see, but on a numbers wise, the same. I think it's the same conversation.
Number wise. Okay, I get it. Yeah.
So like, I mean, the Civic Si and the N line are damn near the same numbers.
They are.
So you have more displacement on the N line. It's a 2.0 turbo.
Okay. Oh, and the Civic Si is
a 1.6. I think it's a 1.6 turbo. But they both make about 200 horsepower even, right? They were clearly competitors. Like they were classed to be right there with each other.
Right.
So now when we start talking about let's say an Elantra N comparatively to a Civic Type R.
Yep.
They're, again, now you're talking about two that are 2-liter turbo cars.
Yep.
Front-wheel drive. Both make about the same amount of power, right? 270 and change.
No, because not anymore.
Well, 303, it's like it's 305 or 302 or 315, depending on which version.
Well, there's a bigger difference now with the new Type R being like 315, and the Elantra N is like 275, 276. It says right there.
Right, but you could also probably get an Elantra N for the MS. That's not an Elantra N MSRP, is it?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, that is.
So
yeah.
they're saying the starting MSRP. I don't think you're ever going to find one for 33 grand, but
You don't think so?
Elantra N?
I don't think they had the same kind of hot desirableness as the Type R. I think
Me either, but I still think that they're selling above MSRP, I would bet.
I haven't looked, but I feel like they're not. I don't know. But
Max, see if you can find an Elantra N that's actually for sale. Like a new one, brand new.
But
I'm just curious now.
Well, this is the way I'm thinking about it when I say that, like, maybe Hyundai is becoming like taking over and passing Honda. If you think about Honda years and years ago, if they offered all at one time, I guess they would have offered something like the SI, the Prelude S2000, whatever it is, and they just had a lineup of enthusiast cars.
Yeah.
And just kind of tuner cars in general. I just don't feel like that's the way it is today. They offered V6 Accords with stick shift. Those are all things that they offered.
But the question is, was that like the actual time? No, Max, try to. This is one of those ones, right? All right, so it looks like they're listing for right about. They're a little bit over MSRP.
That's probably including destination and whatnot.
Yeah, all right. So they're still about 34, 35 grand. But look, so here's the thing though. When we start talking about like CRXs, Preludes, Accord manuals and stuff like that was just the nature of them putting out cars, right? Like they weren't as I don't think it was an enthusiast natured. I mean, there was a time where cars just happened to be in that realm of being the type of cars that we enjoyed.
Okay, well then here I'll paint it this way of what I feel then is like Honda doesn't even offer a coupe anymore and at all. There's no coupes that are made for Honda's lineup, and if you look at their two enthusiast cars, which would be basically just the SI and the Type R, those have been around. It's all based off of one platform on the Civic. Hyundai they have like 5 different N cars.
It's not that I can't appreciate where Hyundai's going, because I do think that
they have the Kona N, which you never see. I never even see them, but it's like a hot SUV. It's like a hot hatch SUV, and then they have the Elantra N. I had the Veloster N, which is now discontinued, but. They all use the same engine, but they're made on different platforms as opposed to SI to Type R.
I don't know a ton about these cars, so it's hard for me to argue necessarily. I would say that they're probably not on different platforms, but I don't know. And the reason I would say...
they're made on different platforms. In other words, they're compared to their base model, Elantra versus Elantra N, Veloster versus Veloster N,
there's different trims, but as far as their platform, I would darn near think that a lot of the cars that are utilizing the same... 276 horsepower, whatever. Probably
they use the same engine.
Same platform.
Okay. Well,
there goes that chair. I feel like you can't have a chair in this room. Anyhow, I just think so. Here's my problem. My problem is that, and I generally don't know. Is all right. If you went back, like I think about 15 years or so when. Mark V's, were really just starting to pop out, and people were leaving some of the Honda cars, and they were going to, Mark V's, GTIs, and you go to Waterfest, and you go to some of the, H2Os, and you go to some of these shows, and you would get there, and now there was a different breed of person that had bought these cars. These, and I want to say kids, but these people were modifying the cars with more aggressive body kits, and they were putting on the big boy 3-piece wheels, or they were putting on these really wide wheels and stretching tires, and they were loud exhausts and different things like that. Stuff that was traditionally unconventional for the Euro community.
Yep.
Now, also within that same show, you would have, this whole majority of people that were driving like Mark IV stuff down, right, and older. And that's where all the Volkswagen purists in quote, would be. And it was like two different shows. You could just look at those guys and see them snarling at these kids coming in like that. What are they doing?
Yeah, we're not with them.
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess what I'm saying is, the question is, will some of the things that Hyundai's doing right now with, again, putting these quote unquote enthusiast type features to enhance driving experience as they convert over to EV and different things like that, will those things follow the new breed, and then the old people will just kind of go away, like me, like the purist people?
I don't know. I don't know why you don't, these cars don't excite you the way I feel like they should.
Well, look, I think there's an appreciation level and then there's an excitement. All right, so like even just looking at the car, like here's the thing, it's cool as an EV.
Well, I mean,
but I don't want a speaker like at least with BMW. And I was just in what's that truck? The one that should be like a 7 Series, but
X5?
No, it's not an X7. It's like the I something, I don't know. It's i7 or something like that. It's their electric, it's their fully electric truck SUV, the big one.
I just don't know it.
So is it one of those
BMW?
BMW.
Yeah, I don't know
it's super expensive.
That thing?
iX? It might be the iX.
Oh, that thing is ugly.
Is that it? I think that might be it.
How come I don't get driving these things? Where'd you driving that?
This guy I know in California, when I was out there, he has one. He has one with the crystal package. You ever see that?
No, I'm
too
poor for
like
this stuff.
Crystals and stuff. Well, I don't have one. I'm just saying. So bottom line is, that thing when it's quick enough. I mean, it's plenty quick. It's fully electric, and when you have different modes, and when you change the mode, the interior lighting changes.
Oh, the ambient light and whatnot.
And then, in addition to that, the sound changes when you accelerate.
Oh.
Now, they're not, BMW doesn't, I mean, they may have a mode, but like the 6 or 7 modes we were playing with, they weren't like, the noise that you were hearing through the speakers or whatever wasn't, and you could turn it off, wasn't an engine noise. It was like they have like one like it's like hyper time travel and like
there's no way.
Yeah, when you step on the gas, it's like and it feels like you're going back to the future, and like there's this like and the lighting changes for it, and this. So I guess what I'm saying is I can deal with that because they're not trying to be something it's not.
Oh, I see. Okay, I wouldn't like that because that sounds ridiculous.
I understand, but it's cool for a techie type of ride.
Okay, yeah, it's like,
okay,
yeah.
But now you give me this even if it's a fully capable EV, I want to be so make a sporty EV, like make the car, and
just keep it quiet.
Even if you want to give me some sort of other version of a translated, what's a good version? Another version of a tachometer, right? Don't give me a tach because the tach is only known for our revolutions per minute for an engine. Don't give me that. But you want to give me something else which kind of equates to speed or different things like this or whatever. I can get down with it. What I'm saying is I just don't know how I feel about the artificially recreated like manual where I know that it's like a paddle shift and like it's doing something to the car, but like it's not really.
Well, to be fair, pumped-in audio is pretty common in a lot of just internal combustion engine cars today, anyways.
Yeah, but like, not really.
It is though.
Like, but where? But like, aside from which cars are we talking about?
A lot. My old car had it. The Veloster had it. The new Type R has it.
But like.
You can literally just go on, off, and you can hear it.
All right, but do you think that? All right, so they're trying to create this more of a sense of feel, but at the end of the day, like if you just put an exhaust on the damn thing, like you won't need that.
That's correct.
So I like that one.
But I mean, they give you. All I'm saying is they give you the options for that on a regular, internal combustion engine car as well.
So if you had to compare the two companies right now from an enthusiast standpoint, Hyundai. Honda.
I think right now, Hyundai wins.
That's an interesting point.
But okay, so overseas they have the i30N, which was like the first N car.
Right.
They have the i20N, which is like kind of like a GR Yaris.
Okay.
The Veloster N has kind of met his end here in the States. Replaced by the Elantra N, or not replaced, or basically. And then the Kona N still lives. And they're going to come out with this electric one of the IONIQ 5N coming out. I mean, that's six.
But is this the
That's
type?
6 different cars.
No, but
it's 6 different cars.
Listen,
what has Honda been doing? They haven't been doing anything.
I know, but like when you get into some of these cars, arguably, I would say that like, all right, so do I want an Elantra N line or do I want a Civic Si?
I mean, most people will recognize the Si name because it's been around for 20 years.
Yeah, but like what I'm talking about is like, which one of these I want. Now, the concept that they put out, that concept is dope.
Yeah.
But their concept's not going to be real.
Max says he thinks it is real. I haven't seen anything about it coming to production.
I've heard everybody has rumors of that stuff, but back in the day, there was a lot of rumors about a bunch of different cars that were supposed to come to market. I don't think that's coming to market. If it does, it's not going to look like that.
You know what's crazy? I left my gym the other day, and there was a A90 Supra in the parking lot.
Yeah.
And I was just staring at the front of that Supra, and I was just thinking, do you remember back when they released the concept for that car?
It was the FT86.
FT1, I thought. And it stood for Future Toyota 1.
I could
have swore it was FT1. The old original concept for the new Supra.
So yeah, but I thought I thought it was called. I thought originally they were saying it was the FT86, and then eventually they came out with the actual 86. And they were like, oh, we'll walk it backward. Yeah, I mean,
that's the picture I remember from years and years ago,
fair.
whenever it was. And I was looking at the Supra outside my gym, and I was like, it's incredible how much the thing really looks like their old concept of the FT1.
Yeah, I mean, that was a little bit more bulky. That looks a little more Bugatti-ish.
Yeah,
right?
It definitely looks a little more hypercar.
It's like a Bugatti that met an Enzo.
I really thought when they came out with this, I thought it was going to be at that kind of like $80,000 to $100,000 mark to kind of to compete with the GTR and the NSX and stuff. And then they came in with that $40-something thousand price point. It's crazy.
Well, it wasn't that car.
I know, it's not that car. I know.
And what they did was they went out and found BMW.
Yeah, I know.
But that's another thing about look, here's my problem with some of these cars. Inherently, but it's a really nice car though. Inherently, the issue that is there in a lot of the Japanese and I don't want to make the statement because I think some of the Japanese stuff is just as tinny and stuff, but like the reason I think every day I drive, like a Volkswagen, right? Okay. Like I drive that Atlas, is they just typically feel like they drive better. They're just heavier. They're more substantial. Like when you start to look at the interior offerings on some of the Korean stuff and some of the Japanese stuff, it tends to be just very underwhelming. I guess it is. It's a lot of plastic. It's a lot of,
But I mean, for the improvements of where they came from, it's when people think of Hyundai, they're gonna think of plastic interiors. That's what. But it's not all that. I mean, frankly, the new SUVs that they have are luxury.
Yeah. And
how about this as well? As a company themselves, not only are they catering to enthusiasts and stuff like that, but even a truck, work trucks or whatever, they have that new pickup truck. Hyundai offers that. Now, Honda doesn't offer the Ridgeline anymore, I don't believe.
Good.
I know. Not that it was anyone's favorite truck.
It was nobody's favorite truck.
But all I'm saying is that Hyundai is even going out of their way to have offerings for, everyone.
I mean, that Santa Cruz, I wouldn't go as far to say truck, right?
It is, though.
Is it, though?
It's enough of a truck.
It's the El Camino of your day. It's basically.
You seen
what was the one that
a guy down the street has one?
What was the one that the Baja? It's a Baja.
It's bigger than a Baja.
You could say what you want.
Look at those. You saw those bikes in the trunk in the bed. You saw that? Look at those. They're happy. They're happy in there. You can go biking.
Would you ever own that?
I would.
Would you ever own that?
Why not?
No, that's not what I said. You see, what you're doing is you're answering a question with a question, which usually deflects on the point of view that you.
There's a lot of cars I wouldn't own, Scott.
Would you own that car?
If it was given to me, sure.
Oh, it was given to you for free.
Or a great discount. I don't drive automatics.
Well, no.
So
I mean,
we'll start with that.
I would.
Oh, so it's down?
Yeah, but that's just that doesn't make much sense. I mean, it doesn't matter to me because like at the end of the day, it's like that's like saying you can't put the tailgate up, on some of the pickup trucks when you put drywall in there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not big. It wasn't supposed to be big.
All I'm saying is that they're offering stuff for everybody. As a whole company as a whole.
I mean, that whole back area is meant to hold your purse and
listen, I don't know what people do with their lives, but if you had to carry some stuff in your bed, you don't need a big double cab or whatever it is, you'll be all right.
What do you want to hold in there?
I don't know. What do you do? I don't do a lot of stuff. I have a Miata right now. I can't hold anything.
Well,
I would kill for some room back there.
So you'd kill for there to be like a whole little 3-foot bed.
Yeah.
I look, circling back to this thing. I think the problem I have right now is I want a car that's going to be a car. I want a car that's going to be the real deal. Uh-huh. I don't want the fake stuff. I don't want, like, if you want to give me an EV and you say, hey, it's an EV,
let it be an EV. Nothing more.
Make it a sporty and drive as well. You want to tell me that I can switch into some sort of mode to do something, but like, if it's the equivalent of just knowing how far the pedal is going to go down, I don't know that. I'm not saying this is not fun, but I don't know. Like, I don't know at what point the novelty of that video game wears off. You know what I'm saying?
So, here's a question. Here's a question for you.
Yeah.
So, if a company, any company, it doesn't have to be any of the ones that we're talking about today, but if any company comes out with an EV and they go, actually, also, I guess something I never really asked myself is what drivetrain is or Teslas and stuff.
What do you mean?
They're all-wheel drive or what?
Well, it depends. Because I think standard they're a rear-wheel drive.
Then all of them?
And then when you get the dual motor car, that's when it becomes all-wheel drive.
I never even thought about that until this moment, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so all right, it can be any company. They come up with an EV car, right?
Yep.
And they say this is going to be our performance EV, and they tell you the things that make it performance.
Tesla Plaid.
No, but okay, sure, yeah. But that's a literal example. I'm talking about a hypothetical one.
Oh, okay. Okay, let's make it fake it. Okay.
So if they said to you it's a rear-wheel drive platform, it comes with better suspension and named suspension, whatever it may be, named brakes and whatever it is, and big slotted rotors and whatever it may be, and they give you, say, a drift brake in there, comes stock, and they say go have fun with this car, and no fake sound, no nothing, and it has a typical.
No problem. I'm in.
Okay, so you're in on that.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean that's basically a big kid's go-kart I just described, but
yeah, but I guess what I'm saying is I don't want to have
all the fake rowing and the sounds and the whatever.
And here's the thing: it's not because I don't even think that it would be exciting to do, but like I don't want that to be what cars turn into.
Okay,
like you know what I mean? Like I mean, look, he's really struggling there. Really struggling there. I mean, now he's got it going.
That's like what was the video with the Dodge with the Daytona?
Yeah, I mean, and that wasn't the Daytona. You're talking. There was Daytona, but I was talking about like when they came out with that. Remember the Challenger?
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Where it had the speaker. I mean, like, yeah. I mean,
I'm not a fan of that
great
either.
styling. I thought the car looked great, but like and here's the thing. I love driving a manual car.
So do I.
I want that capability, but like, I don't want to be fooled into that capability. Like, and that's where I start to struggle with some of these cars. Like, so when you say to me, hey, you can have this, let's say, IONIQ N, right? And now they've said this IONIQ N in 25, it looks like it's going to have the equivalent. And I say the equivalent of about 640 horsepower or something like that.
Wow. And that's this car. Yeah, that thing looks crazy.
And don't get me wrong. I think that's crazy fast, right? There's no doubt that the electric vehicles have that potential to be stupid fast. Period.
Right.
Like no ifs, ands, or buts.
Can't argue it.
Right? So I'm not talking about from a speed point. I'm not saying that they can't make really crazy cars. I personally, what does he do? Is he warming up the car there?
I don't know what's happening.
Looks like he's having a massive... Is it the brake? Is it they put a hydro in? What is that? What is he doing?
Starting the engine.
No, he's not. What? Oh, he was queuing up the fireworks.
No, it's getting the lawnmower to go.
It looks like a sequential though.
Yeah, it does look like a sequential.
No, it's a hydro. It's a hydro. It's an e-brake. So I don't know.
Oh, so they did all that stuff that I made up in that hypothetical situation.
Yeah, but you know what's not there? That the hydro is there.
A shifter.
Yeah. Like I mean, look, you want to put a hydro into the car instead of a shifter? I'll deal with not having a manual thing. I'll be flying that thing all over the street. I mean, that won't be a good idea.
Yeah.
But look, I think that's some of my thing. The one thing about the Civic for me, at least definitely right now, is that, the Integra Type R has a pedigree to it, right?
The Integra Type R? Civic Type R.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm getting all turned around here.
It's all right.
But yeah, so the Civic Type R, it has its own pedigree. It comes with its, whatever. I know what I'm getting. Do I think it's the most amazing car in the world? No, I don't.
Right.
Do I think that the car is anything above what it is? No. But there is a reason that people want to have a Nismo Edition 370Z. There is a reason that people want, because they want to have the real pieces that come along with it. And one of the things that I didn't like about the S line when Audi did the S line and then the S, was the S line was just a really kind of a watered down. Let me change the badges. Let me put some grills. Let me get some other options in there. But the S was a real had the big brakes. It had it had all the good stuff and M. I mean, you can listen. A 440 is a plenty fast, capable platform. It's the same engine that they use in the Supra.
And you get the 440M.
Yeah, all right, but what I'm saying is but then if you get an M4, those two cars are not the same.
Not at all.
That M4 has all the goods.
Well, it's the same thing on the lower scale. The S line and the S cars are not the same.
No, I know that, but I'm just saying I want the cars that have all the real features. I don't want the cars that give me the thing to make me feel like I bought a better car.
Right.
But it's really
Yeah, I feel that.
And I think Civic SIs, I think, they do everything that they're supposed to do. My problem with a lot of these cars is that I feel like they're just underwhelming.
But they have to be now that they have higher trims in their lineup.
Yeah, but would you argue that maybe a Civic SI, the Civic Type R isn't really a fair trade up to that?
Why not?
Well, my guess, and I don't know this for sure, but my guess would be on an Elantra N, you probably can get a lot more. On the Elantra N, I bet you can get a lot more comfort features than you can get on the Civic Type R.
Probably.
Right? I'm going to say that the Elantra N, probably you can get leather. Probably you can get different things like that.
Yes.
The SI, that's not going to happen. Right? I don't think not the SI. The Type R. I don't think the Type R comes with any options, right? It's just the Type R.
Yeah, I believe that's true.
Right.
They get options that are exterior, like wheels and aero package and whatever.
Yeah. Look, I'm never going to be the guy that says that I think a fully electric version of anything is the way it should go. I love the idea of even hybrid being the next major thing we roll into.
I think my point on most of this would have been just kind of like, what?
No, the buttons and group gives you.
You get a little boost button.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's like hit the NOS.
I know. I get it. I'm trying not to say crap here because I think what they're doing is really innovative and it's cool.
Right. I'm saying regardless on how you feel about these cars, regardless, whatever, all I'm trying to say is my point is that they are doing more than other companies in terms of enthusiast-driven stuff.
I think, but here, all right, so here's where we're going to end this.
Uh-huh.
My question to you is, do you feel that they're doing stuff to make more enthusiasts, more capable vehicles? Or do you think they're adding a lot of gimmicks in to be able to make people feel like, oh, this is cool.
I don't know. I drove one of these cars, and
yeah, but I'm not talking about the car.
Okay.
right? Like I believe that you know, the IONIQ 5N is going to be a very fast, very capable car in a lot of different realms, you know?
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying is, with all those other things that they're piping into this thing, the end grid boost button and you know, shifters that don't really shift, but they do shift, with the power bands that simulated exactly like a manual transmission, like, those things make the car better, or are those things just more gimmicks to sell the car because people get in, they like to see the lights and the woo, and, you know, they touch the paddles.
No, I think it's a good point. I don't know if I call it a gimmick. I think it makes it maybe just more fun for the typical enthusiasts of people of what we're used to.
Right.
And it's kind of like they're trying to bridge the gap between something new and what we like.
Have you ever seen? I promise you we're going to stop this real soon. But, like, have you ever seen some of the dance parties that they have now where there's these dance floors and you can put on headphones and put on your own music that they give you choices of? Silent
parties?
Right.
Yeah,
and you can go and you can just rave. And there's a bunch of people and nobody's dancing the same thing and stuff like that. Like, that's what I feel like with when you put a speaker in the car and you try to simulate an engine.
Okay, I get it.
Like, if you wanted to simulate an engine so bad,
look at that.
But then these people aren't listening to the same. I mean, like, you know.
So
dude, I just struggle. Like, to me, the best thing about cars, the best thing about cars were the fact that they were mechanical. That's why, like, you know, I hear that all the time. Like, you have a 06 350Z. Like, why a 350Z? Mm-hmm. Because it's still a great balance between analog and digital.
Okay.
The car still, as much as everything's a little bit more on the digital side, it still has that very analog feel. Like, my car is very driver. It's still got that. It still has that ability to feel really connected with the car and the driving experience. And it's not just simulated. It's 1-to-1. It feels like it's right there. Whereas, you know, I think that as you start to get into some of the later years, you're losing that.
Well, I'll tell you this. My previous car was a WRX, which was a 22. You know, I think, you know, all these cars have the electronic assisted steering, right? You know, like...
Electronic, you mean like the easy steer? Like the stuff that's just really simple to turn
Well, as
the wheel?
opposed to hydraulic steering, it's electronic steering.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, so, like, I'm pretty sure that's what my WRX had, and... I never thought of it as a poor drive or whatever it may be, but I remember having to drive my wife's car every here and there, which is a 2012 Accord. And she has,
this is really tough.
So she has regular hydraulic steering, and I'm like, this steering wheel feels a little bit stiff. I was like, maybe it's a little too stiff. I don't know what the hell is going on. And I was like, and she was like, yeah, like, you know, I guess sometimes it feels heavy. I was like, no, it feels like really heavy. Now I got rid of the WRX and I have the Miata, which just has also hydraulic steering. And I drove her car again, and I was like, man, your steering feels so light now. And I was like, it just goes to show how light was the electronic steering in the WRX.
Oh, really? Light? Yeah, like, but I mean, that's...
But when you say that your car, you still have that kind of like real rooted feel, whatever it is, like, I you know that you lose that stuff with the new cars for sure.
Well, and that's kind of what I mean. Every time you get a step down the road, like, I like the I feel like right after you kind of leave the 350, you really start getting a little bit more away from it. Now, I think the 370 held on to it a little bit longer. Arguably, some other things that...
Held on to an interior for 10 years.
Held on to a lot of things for more than 10
Man, they
years.
used everything for that car. They didn't change anything.
Yeah, but I mean, look, one of the things that I like so much about the, you know, like, you know, R32, 33, 34s, the one thing that I like so much about the 90s Japanese sports cars, FD RX-7s, Supras, stuff like that, they had that last of the very analogness with a little bit of digitalness. And I think for me, that's one of the best times for a lot of these Japanese import cars, right? And I acknowledge the fact that, like, listen, there are some things that are nice as a daily driver. For example, roll assist.
Okay.
When you have a manual car, roll assist.
I had roll assist. Pretty cool.
I understand. I've never had roll assist.
Yeah.
Because I'm a man and I use the e-brake. You know what I mean? Like, when I'm going somewhere, if there's a hill, I just naturally hold the e-brake in my hand, with a button, and if it's really that steep and I have to be stopped or whatever, then and I just know, and I got the clutch down and put it in first gear, and I know how to, and it's how it goes.
Me, I'm pushed on both. I'm holding, and then when it's time to go, drop, and you just
you drop.
And you dump the clutch, and you just get up that hill.
You don't have to do that.
Oh, that's how
you just pull up on that e-brake a little bit, and like I don't know,
But hill assist, then you're just what? I don't even know what you just
no hill assist. You literally could.
Are you even on the brake? I don't even remember.
Well, no, I mean you should be on the brake, but like if you take your foot off the brake, it won't roll backward.
Oh yeah, that's what it is. That's right. That's what it is. I can't even remember. I barely even.
Like I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm not saying that there's not a cool feature.
Yeah.
And like if you have a big truck and trailer, like hey, that's cool stuff. Even not on a manual car.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just saying like when I take my Z out, and if I was daily driving this thing and I lived in San Francisco, I'm sure I would feel.
Is that where you want to live?
No.
Oh.
Why would you say that?
I don't know. You said San Francisco. I don't know where. I was just wondering.
Oh no, I don't want to do anything.
I heard the hills there are very fun to drive in.
Good. Well, I don't want to go to California at all. Sorry, California, but I'll tell you right now, when it comes to your state, I'm out.
Yeah, I was told
I'm there enough.
I was told driving in San Francisco is very fun because they have the big hills and whatnot. It's a very good drive.
Except when you get stuck in traffic on a hill, what do you do?
I've never been there. I don't know.
Well, you hopefully have roll assist.
Yeah.
Anyhow, my whole thing with this whole debate is that I still think that some of the simulation stuff, as cool as it is, like if I was buying a simulator, a video game, I love everything the Hyundai is doing. If I'm buying a car to drive every day, arguably not what I need. And if I'm buying a track car, I don't know that I want that stuff.
I think that's fair.
I'm not saying it's not cool, and I'm not saying it's not fun, and I'm not saying it doesn't enhance the experience.
You know what you remind me of?
The old pessimistic Archie
I watched.
there
was this interview on a Kevin Hart show that he like interviews guests or whatever, just like a typical interview show. Yeah. And he brings on Dr. Dre, and and he goes.
Just the fact you compared me to Dr. Dre, I'm already feeling good.
Yeah, so I mean, it just reminds me of like he asked Dr. Dre like, "Hey, do you listen to a lot of this like new age rap music or whatever?" And Dr. Dre's like, "No." He goes, but I'm also not complaining about it. He was like, he goes, I understand that rap music is like evolving, but he goes, it doesn't mean I have to listen to it or like it. And he goes, but I'm also not complaining that it's evolving. He goes, that's just what happens. Right. So that's kind of the vibes you're giving me with this.
Yeah, I guess I could see that. Like I'm fine with it existing. I just don't think I want it.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Right.
So.
I mean, as I sit here and drink my water with my rainbow straw, I'm just saying that I think that there's this level of that if I want a sports car, if I want something like, here's the thing, like a McLaren is a good example.
Okay.
Like a P1, as I'm watching Tavares restore his P1, which is super dope.
Yep.
Like the car is naturally a hybrid, right? They use the batteries for that electric boost and a whole bunch of stuff like that. And I can deal with it if it doesn't have if it's not a manual. Mm-hmm. Like I can deal with it if you're telling me it's got this super duper crazy automatic and this is just how fast the car is. Like I don't mind. Like I like R35s.
Yeah, I know you like R35s, and I've heard you talk about really highly over a couple automatic cars like the RS6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and so, yeah, I mean, the RS6 is ridiculously dope.
So cool.
But here's the thing. Those cars don't pretend to be something they're not.
I get it. I get where you're going with this.
Just don't give me the gimmicky stuff. Like, what I'm saying,
Do you think you could have fun with it, though?
For a day or two.
Okay.
And then I think the novelty wears off, and I'm like, okay, but, like, I just want this car to be fast. And if it is, great. But do I want to pretend to... Man, I don't know. It's just one of those things. You know how disappointing it is for me sometimes when you see these people that roll up on these cars and the car looks like it's just going to be an all-out monster, and you get over to the car and they open up the engine bay and you realize they have nothing done and the car's automatic.
Okay, yeah.
I'm super disappointed. Like, I look back at you and I'm like, I'm a little sad because you felt the necessary to make your car look like a race car or whatever, And then there's really nothing about your car that's race at all. Well,
Smoke and mirrors.
yeah, don't give me those mirrors. You know what I mean?
We don't want mirrors.
If we're bringing the smoke, if we're bringing the smoke, we're also bringing the thunder.
I
You know what
thought you were going to say the mirrors.
No. So anyhow, look, what's your thought out there? Let us know what you think. Are these, things like the Hyundais and some of the gimmicks that they're putting in, and I call them gimmicks, but because I really truly believe that they are. And I don't mean gimmick in a negative connotation as it sounds. I just mean gimmick in a sense of this is their way or the new way, we don't know yet, of car companies trying to bring a driving experience back to something that's maybe a little vanilla, just because, look, when you drive a Tesla, I'm sorry, it's fine. It's just it's kind of vanilla. They have the one foot drive thing, I
don't even know. I never even heard of that.
All right, so basically all it is a lot of these electrics, you go down for power, but you barely have to use the brakes anymore. Because as soon as you lift up, it starts to hard decelerate. Not like necessarily you're slamming on the brakes, but
is there a neutral on electric on Teslas?
No.
There's no way to not send power, just let it roll at the speed that it's at.
Oh geez, now you're asking me a question.
I don't know anything about Teslas.
I don't believe so, but I could be wrong.
You shut off the engine. Shut off the car.
You can't do that. I don't even think you can do that. I couldn't even figure out how to lock the damn thing the last time I got one.
I've been in Teslas before just as Ubers and stuff, but I never drove one or anything like that.
But driving one, there is something to me that's very cool about, not having to deal with, getting on the brake all the time. Like, when you're in traffic, it's a much nicer car to drive in traffic because, you go down and then all of a sudden you come back and it starts to decelerate, and that's fine. Now, when it comes down to, do I want that car to be on the racetrack? Is that I don't know. If they added a shifter to a Tesla, I don't know that I would be like, yeah.
I see. I get it.
This is awesome.
Yeah, I feel you.
So, anyhow, that's my thing. Let us know if you think these things, these new car gimmicks to enhance driving experience will actually be something useful. If you enjoy them, do you think you'll like them for more than maybe the first week or two after you get the car? Or will you just find yourself flipping the thing into automatic and driving the car like you should? Do you think that you would buy one of these cars to go out and make a track vehicle, knowing that you're going to want to shift the gears, and you're going to shift the gears that is perpetrated to look like
a different car?
Or should you just buy a Type R?
I don't know.
All the questions that we want to know, leave them down below. And if you like this whole thing, make sure you subscribe. If you're listening to us on all the podcast things, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, iHeartMedia, Spotify, right? If you listen to us on any of those things, make sure you check out our YouTube channel where we, put this whole thing up. Anyhow, take care of yourself. We'll be back here next week. We'll do this whole podcast thing again. Peace out.